And I think there's one little formula I believe in so much. Perseverance plus passion plus pride equals win. I've often said pride in a person is the ability to persevere, to respect all the competition, but fear none. Dedication and determination. The ability to have the drive and the desire at that crucial moment when you have to perform. You have that, you're gonna win.
College GameDay is back in Auburn for the third time, y'all. 3 years in a row, they're out here. And we got number 3, Alabama, coming in today to hopefully get a dub in a place that it's hard to get a dub in, the jungle. And we're excited for it. Welcome to Countdown to Game Day, covered by State Farm. Sam, we got 3 weeks, just 3, left in the regular season, and everything is heating up. I'm Skubie Mageza. That is Sam Ravech. And we got a great show for y'all as we count down to Game Day, as we count down to March Madness, Sam. And we got a number of games that we're going to play. We're going to have a student from Auburn join us. And then we're going to, of course, talk about this Auburn and Alabama matchup. What are you looking forward to the most?
Welcome to the jungle, right? I mean, that place is just so tough to play and has been for the last couple of years. I think this is a must-win for Auburn here. We'll talk more about that as well. Really, really need a win. And to be quite frank, Alabama's been playing like the best team in the country.
Yeah, so that is so facts. It's going to be fun to see how they play in such a tough area. And we'll break down that game even more because there's a lot to unpack there. But starting off with a game, why don't we talk about some things that are strange but yet surprising? Huh, Sam?
Those two kind of go together, like I mean, right?
Yeah. We're going to start off with UNC, and they were the preseason #1 team, but are now on the verge of not even making the tournament, Sam. They'll be the first team to not do that.
Yeah, it's amazing. Since we started ranking teams, the preseason #1 team has always made the NCAA tournament. North Carolina might not. Right now, our friend Joe Lenardi has UNC listed as last 4 in. Their game today against Clemson, I think, may be the biggest game in terms, at least in the most impactful game in terms of seeding, who gets in, who gets out. Right now, I think if Clemson loses, they lose their AQ spot, their automatic qualifier spot, so they would have to go make a deep run in the ACC tournament. But look, we got to remember, too, Scoob, that the Tar Heels went to the national championship game last year, right?
Yeah.
And they returned 4 starters from that team. You talk about disappointment, and I know you'll say, look, they returned the 4 starters, but they're not the same players. And I think Armando Bacot coming out saying, like, look, we're not playing as a group. If you're not going to be here, leave. I think that's there's a little bit of discontent in that locker room right now. The defense is a question mark. Look, North Carolina is 7-6 in ACC play right now. They have got to play better, and this is a must. It's as close to a must-win today against Clemson as they may have had all year.
You said it perfect because Armando Bacot made those comments after their Wake Forest loss. And they were down by 22 at halftime and 26 at one point. Yeah. And the body language on the court was bad. This just seemed like a team that is not only struggling to find chemistry, but they're just not playing well on the court. And leading into the game, they talked about how they had a great week of practice, but a great day of practice, but it still ended up leading to that performance that they have, which was strange.
Troubling.
But surprising.
Strange and surprising.
All right. How about the Marquette Golden Eagles, huh? They're number 9 in the country right now, and they're sitting in second place in a Big East that is actually really tough at the top right now, Sam.
I'll tell you, Scoop, from disappointment to surprise here, Marquette, the highest-ranked team in the Big East, at number 10, like you said. I know they just lost to UConn on the road. UConn played like the best team, I think, in the country in that game. But look, Shaka Smart boasts one of the best offenses in the entire country. This team averaging over 80 points per game. I think you go look at Tyler Kolek, who's maybe one of the best distributors, passers of the basketball in Division I right now. He's averaging over 7 assists per game. Marquette should have a get-back game against, unfortunately, a Georgetown team that is down again this year.
Yes.
They play them today, so I think that's a big game for Marquette to kind of get back and right the ship a little bit.
Yeah, when you look at Marquette, they're just so good offensively. But one place I see them struggling in is on the defensive side of the ball. I think they're just outside the top 50 in terms of KenPom and their ranking there. But then when you look at their offense, they're in the top 5. So you got to get a balance over there and figure out what's going on. And how are you going to be the highest ranked team in your conference, but you're not the top team in your conference? Looking at the Big East, 4 teams at the top that are 1 game from each other. We got Marquette, Creighton, Providence. I mean, Creighton has just completely stepped up their play and are playing like one of the best teams in the country right now.
I think to your point too, Scoob, one of the more underrated games and maybe lesser talked about games today is going to be the UConn-Creighton game, right?
Yes.
I mean, that is a massive game at Creighton today for UConn. A UConn team, like we said, that just beat this Marquette team. The Big East very well could get 5, maybe even 6 teams into the tournament.
Yeah, Ryan Cogburner, ever since he's gotten back, if I'm not mistaken, I think Creighton's been a top 5 team, and you got that right around the end of December, and they're looking like they have a great chance to win this. So Creighton, keep an eye on them. That is a great matchup, to your point, Sam. And now, next to our next strange but surprising stat is the Florida Atlantic Owls. They're ranked higher than Kentucky right now, Sam, and they deserve it because at one point they're on a 22-23 game win streak?
Hey, let's show FAU some love here and what head coach Dusty May has done down there in the Sunshine State. Yes, they play in Conference USA. We get it. Computer numbers are not great, but this team is humming after suffering still their first conference loss last week to UAB. Michael Forrest, we're just seeing him dumping a bunch of threes. He's now the program leading three-point shooter.
Yes, sir.
Look, like we just said, if at the start of college basketball, Scooby, I told you Florida Atlantic would be ranked, at least in the projections, higher than Kentucky, who was a top 5 preseason team, you would have called me crazy.
And I would have asked if I could put some money down on it because I probably would have won a lot of bread if I would have put down that bet. But it is crazy to see. But I think FAU just does deserve some credit because I think in sports in general, people tend to forget how hard it is to just win. And what they've been doing is winning. And at some point in time, we have to respect that. And that's why they're ranked higher than Kentucky, which is why it is strange, but yet surprising, if I may say.
I like that voice. Do the rest of the show in that voice.
Indubitably. All right, Indiana is our next one. They were picked to win the Big Ten.
Sure were.
And we know that Purdue has been going straight cray-cray over there.
Yeah, they have. But let's be honest. Indiana has played kind of like that Big Ten preseason team that was picked to win the conference. Trace Jackson Davis is averaging 22 and 14 in conference play right now. But Indiana started 1-4 in Big Ten play. Sky was falling in Hoosierville. All of a sudden, they win 5 in a row, get back into the conversation at least a week ago. Today, they take down the undisputed #1 team in the country in Purdue. But then they back it up, and they beat the only other Big Ten team to have beaten Purdue this season in Rutgers this week. So they're on a stretch right now. Assembly Hall is rocking. I think it's been impressive what Indiana's been able to do, again, after starting the way that they did in conference play.
And I think the reason why it also started the way that it did is because Trace Jackson Davis hasn't necessarily been healthy all year.
Sure hasn't. No, you're right.
And it seems like he's finally gotten to that point where his body feels right, and we saw that in his game, to what you said. He's averaging over 22, 23 points per game. He's been going crazy, and then they haven't even had the starting 5 that they expected to have to start the season. Xavier Johnson, he's been injured. We haven't seen him all year, but what we've continued to see is him in the warm-up, just doing some work, slowly getting back. I'm curious to see if they can get him back right before March Madness begins, because we all know how big good guard play is in the tournament. Now, our next strange but yet surprising team is St. Mary's.
Little West Coast Conference love.
If they win their next 5 out of 6 games, they've got the conference title in hand, Sam.
Which they should, by the way. St. Mary's, I know they just picked up their first loss in conference play, had an 11-game win streak snapped by LMU, by the way. LMU continues.
Shout out to them. Shout out to them.
LMU beat St. Mary's and Gonzaga, so maybe we should be talking about them. Look, here's a player right here, Aiden Mahaney. Remember the name. He scored 16 points over the last 6.5 minutes in that win over Gonzaga. That was massive. He's one of the best first-year players in the country right now out west. St. Mary's continues to do the job. And by the way, when they beat Gonzaga, nobody stormed the court. I love it. It tells you we expect to win that game.
Exactly.
And that was pretty cool.
The last time I was on this show, I said that to you when I think Baylor had beat Kansas.
Right.
And they didn't storm the court. And it was Baylor's moment to say that, hey, we expected this of our team. And now it's the same thing with St. Mary's. We beat them and we expect to be able to beat this team. It's just so much parity this year. I love to see it. All right, our next strange but yet surprising team. How about a conference? The ACC conference. What is going on? They are ranked last, Sam, 7th. This conference is on a historic streak right now to have the worst year that they've ever had.
Yeah, look, this is a down year for the ACC. It's still a conference that's going to get 6 or 7 teams into the field. The biggest reason for the computer numbers right now that have the ACC so far down, I think, is twofold, Scoob. One, the ACC has 15 teams.
I was just going to say that.
So I stole your
You looking at my notes?
I stole your notes. So, yes, you're going to have that disparity top to bottom. The top of the ACC is very good. Virginia is a Final Four good team. Having said that, the bottom has not been good. Louisville, Boston College, Florida State, Virginia Tech, Notre Dame. These teams, have tradition, have history, but they have just been really, really bad and historically bad for some of these programs.
Yeah, when you have 15 teams in your conference, it's either going to help you or hurt you. And then when you're trying to increase or improve that conference, you're just going against bad teams all the time. So the computers aren't going to reflect that, which doesn't sort out great for the ACC. And we're seeing the Blue Bloods like Duke and UNC just have bad seasons. They're not playing up to their expectations as well. So it is strange, and surprising at the same time. All right, now let's check out the games that we got today because there are some great ones, y'all. Just looking at this, Sam, what are you most intrigued by?
I will say Alabama and Auburn. I think that's the biggest game there. Duke, Virginia is going to be spectacular. And keep it open out west. A little late-night basketball action for you.
We are now joined by Michaela Kelly, student at the University of Auburn. And Michaela, I know it's a little bit rainy and poury outside, but you guys are indoors. Tell me what the atmosphere is like.
It's crazy in here. People are just so excited to get inside. People have been camped out since Thursday night, yesterday morning, last night. It's rained all this morning, and people are just so excited to see the Iron Bowl of college basketball.
Oh, yeah. I love to see it. So it looks like you got some enthusiastic fans right behind you over there. And Game Day has been to Auburn 2 times already. So this is the 3rd time that you guys are seeing them there. Have you noticed any differences between the other 2?
Oh, 100%. Game Day has been at Auburn for 3 consecutive years. We're one of 2 schools besides Duke to have Game Day here in 2020, 2022, and 2023. And this is by far the biggest turnout we've ever had for Game Day, for sure.
Oh, yeah, and we're showing some video of the fans right now, and the energy is always great on a college campus. And the energy is great, especially during the college football season when we have these 2 teams meet up. So how much does it carry from the college football season to here?
Well, this is by far the fiercest rivalry in college sports, not just football. And unlike our rivals, Alabama, that just love their football team, Auburn fans love Auburn.
Yeah, and the dedication is real, but this matchup today, it is so important because you need this win. So how important is this matchup? And I'm going to let you explain it to us. And do we see an upset?
This matchup is crucial. Auburn has dropped their last 2 games, and we're coming in as the underdogs today. Alabama rolls in at number 3 and undefeated in the SEC right now. But you know what? We've only lost 1 game at home in the last 2 seasons, upset for sure today.
Hey, when you're in the jungle, you got to be ready to take on what comes with it. So, Michaela, how about we have a little bit of fun, because you got some enthusiastic fans over there. So we're going to have you grab one of the fans, right? And let's talk about this matchup, and you take us through some this or that rivalry trivia. How does that sound?
Sounds good. So, over here, we've got Terrence, and he's a huge Auburn fan, as you can see. So are you ready to play a little this or that?
Oh, I'm all ready.
Okay, so the first question, and I think it's pretty obvious. Would you rather paint your body for a game or wear a costume to a game?
Ooh, that one's a tough one, but I'm going to have to go with paint your body.
Would you rather lose the national championship or miss the tournament?
Lose the national championship, because at least you get there.
For sure. A buzzer-beating alley-oop or full court heave?
Buzzer beater alley-oop.
Aubie or the Eagle?
Aubie. Aubie. Let's go!
Love our 10-time national champion. Jordan Hare or Neville Arena?
You know, that one's a tough one. Because Jordan Hare, you got the heritage, the tradition, but the jungle, unmatched.
100%. This one's a tough one, but would you rather marry an Alabama fan or a Georgia fan?
I'm going to have to go with Georgia on this one.
And last question, who's winning today's game, Auburn or Alabama?
Let's go. That's great energy out there, as I mentioned, Michaela.
Thank
I
you
love
so
to see
much,
it.
Terrence.
Hey, you're welcome. You're welcome. War Eagle.
Hey, Michaela, really appreciate you joining the show. And shout out to GameDay for being out there. Shout out to the fans. And you want to give any shout outs yourself to anybody watching?
I'm going to shout out my family up in New York. Miss you guys, and thank you for letting me come to this amazing school with this amazing fan base.
Fonzarelli.
Yes, sir.
I can't wait to get to Auburn, Alabama. College GameDay. Show starting at 10 o'clock Central Time. I'm looking forward to seeing the jungle, Aubie, and I'll tell you one thing, one of the great atmospheres in college basketball.
Seth, they were so welcoming to me last year. I can't wait to go back to the jungle, put in your pajamas, get some donuts. Come on out to the party that's called College GameDay.
Oh, by the way, I think there's a little game following game day. That team from up the road, Auburn, Alabama. You're not going to be fired up for that one, are you? Woo! Not.
You're watching Countdown to Game Day, covered by State Farm. And now we got a great guest joining the show, Joey G,
Let's go.
my boy. And let me tell y'all something. Every time he joins the show, he's got something fun for us to play. Sam and I have not been told anything.
Zero.
All we were told is hold these. They say A, B, C, and D. And then Joey's just gonna take over. Like
that's all we got.
We're just into it as much as y'all. So what we got?
Scooby-Doo, Sammy Slicks, it is a pleasure. I have a question for you guys. The most common thing that young people have these days is what?
A phone.
A phone. TikTok? Okay, two good answers. Tattoos is what I got for you, all right? You see,
I don't have one, though. I might get one after this.
that's because you're clean, buddy. You're good dude. All right, you see somebody on the street, you say, who's that? Today we're playing Whose Tat.
Let's do it.
All right?
Okay.
We have tattoos.
Whose Tat?
Who dat? We have tattoos from alumni from particular schools. We're gonna see a cool image of a tattoo. You're gonna tell me whose that is based on A, B, C, or D, the options, all right?
Say less.
Sound good?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
First school, University of North Carolina. Here are your options, and there is your tattoo. A, Wayne Ellington. B, Cam Johnson. C, Danny Green. D, Justin Jackson. Scooby and Sam, who's tat?
Well, you got to look at the importance of tattoos, and there's always some significance behind it, might I say, Joey G. So since Danny Green is a bucket and he's a shooter, you got the bullseye, I'm going with C.
Okay.
Yeah, I think if you're a shooter, you got to have something, on the sleeve. Danny Green's had a lot of those, so.
The answer is C.
Let's go.
Danny Green. Listen, he's a shooter, but I'm giving you guys layups, boy, all right?
1 for 1.
We're heating up, all right?
1 for 1.
All right,
Okay.
We
It's
started
early.
off right.
It's early.
On to the next. The next school is Duke. Who's tat? The options are A, Brandon Ingram, B, Jason Tatum, C, JJ Redick, or D, Trey Jones, who's tat.
Oh, this is easy.
Are you sure?
B, baby. Let's go.
B? Okay. Jason Tatum.
See J. Tatum.
I know Jason Tatum has a couple on his leg.
Yeah,
I think so. Let's go with that. I was trying to decipher the jerseys on there. Who's trying
over here? Copy.
The next one, we're going to go Sam first. All right.
go
The
first,
answer is B, Jason Tatum.
Yeah, let's go.
The shout out to the Black Mama. May he rest in peace, Kobe Bryant.
The Duke Zero is a good weather.
Kid from Boston Celtics fan. I gotta recognize my boy over there. You heard?
All right. We're heating up. All right. We're gonna go next school.
Sam, you can go.
Let's go.
Yeah, you're going first. I'm
Scubie
tired of you already,
Scubie
kid. With your it ain't bomber season. All right. We're going next school, Kentucky. All right. The options are A, PJ Washington, B, Shaedon Sharp, C, Devin Booker, or D, Anthony Davis, who's tat.
I think I'm going to go Devin Booker here.
Okay.
But I'm not confident on it.
Devin Booker ain't rocking those stars like that. That looks like some Anthony Davis joint right there.
Okay.
I'm going with D for Davis.
You see what we did there? You go first. You are. It is wrong. The answer is Anthony Davis.
I
Scooby,
know my test.
Scooby-Doo. This is why you don't got me, because you can't get them right. Scooby-Doo.
Who's good at this?
Okay.
I'm no good at this.
Next school,
Bring it on.
USC. We're going to give the West Coast some love, although we're East Coast guys, all right? All right?
Okay.
The options are A, DeMar DeRozan, B, Kevin Porter Jr., C, Evan Mobley, D, DeAnthony Melton. Sam, you're up again, kid. All right?
Let me just ask you, do you know the answer to this one?
I feel like I do.
All right. I'll go D.
D?
Yeah.
D for DeMar.
D for
Scooby-Doo.
DeMar.
It seems I was gonna go with the DeMar. You know what? Let me go with something different. We're gonna go with Evan Mobley, B.
Let me get back in the hunt here.
Okay, we got B, Evan Mobley, D, DeMar DeRozan. The answer is DeMar DeRozan. The tides have turned.
Let's go, Scoop.
I should have went with DeMar. I felt like it was DeMar, but then I thought you were throwing a curveball over there.
Excuse me, I said D. The answer is A. But we are going to our last school.
Let's do it.
Which it is.
Michigan State. All right.
Shelby! Shout out to you,
Shelby.
our
Shout out producer Shelby.
The options are A, Tom Izzo, B, Steven Izzo, his son who is on the roster, C, Matt Ishbia, D, Gary Harris, who's tat.
This is not fair. This is Shelby's tattoo. Nah. Sheesh. It's multiple choice. I'm gonna do what I used to do in grade school when I got to this point where I didn't know where it was. If you don't know the answer, go with C.
See it out. C's get degrees. Sam.
I'm going to go with the coach.
We're gonna go A, Tom Izzo. Yo.
Did none of us get it right?
No, I forgot to put the right answer in the graphic, bro.
I knew it. It's
my
Shelby.
bad. No, it is actually E.
I knew it. I knew it. I said
Shelby,
You didn't say it first.
Shelby, he's on to us.
Shelby.
He's on to us. Hey, honorable mention, that beautiful little boy is named after former Michigan State Spartan Cassius Winston. We love you, Cassius, at home.
Let's go. I knew it was
Shelby,
You did
Take
say
it for a walk.
it. You did say it.
She thought she was gonna catch a little slick one on us, but your boy was ready, man. Your boy was ready. Hey, Joey G joining the show, bringing some fun and good vibes. As always, much love, my boy. Thank you for bringing it up with us.
Salute.
As always.
Roll Tide, War Eagle. 2 words show which side of the line you're on.
Roll Tide.
War Eagle! To understand the disdain, winning might be euphoric. Watching the other side lose, about the same. For every kick, there's a kick 6. For every comeback, there's Bryce and the Crimson Flame. The basketball Iron Bowl is star-studded, but just as intense. Auburn has been through the pearly gates of the Final Four. Tide's hoping to break through. But today, just break the other side's heart.
It's now time for What If, covered by State Farm. And Sam, what if Alabama was a basketball school? Because we all know when they say Roll Tide, they're thinking about what happens on the gridiron.
Yeah, no, they do. And I think a lot of credit has to go to Nate Oates. And he has said, and he has stated, that this is not a basketball school, football school conversation. What he has said is this is a school that wins championships, which is pure class, but it's also coach speak. And so we're going to kind of dive right through that and slice right through that for this what if segment. But yeah, I think there's no question about it. Here's the deal. Alabama is playing like the best football team, like the best basketball team in the country right now. And I think if we're being honest, they've been playing like this for about 90% of the season. Having said that, the GOAT, Nick Saban, has won 6 national championships at Alabama. To be fair, Nate Oates just got to Alabama in 2019. Saban got to Alabama in 2007, won his first national championship in 2009, I believe. So, you think Nate Oates continues to bring in players like Brandon Miller, continues to recruit the players like he has. There's no question about it. I think Alabama is going to be a basketball school. And I think, again, Alabama made the decision to extend Nate Oates to 2029 and give him that contract extension. It's one of the biggest buyouts, I think, in college basketball and college football. So he wants to be there. Alabama wants him there, and I think he's the right person for that job.
Yeah, and it definitely seems like they're going in the right direction with the way that they've been beating up on schools this year. They've just been dominating in the SEC. We talked about how they're undefeated in conference play, and then let's talk about, when we talk about Nick Saban and their recruiting class, they have the #1 recruiting class this year in football, and now the Alabama basketball team is one of the best ones in the country. So the football school will always be a part of Alabama, but now the basketball is starting to climb up there because they're dominating the SEC the same way that the football team does.
Just to put it in perspective here, what Alabama is doing is silly. They are 6-3 in quad 1 wins. They're 6-0 in quad 2 wins. So that makes you 12-3 in the first 2 quadrants. They have no losses outside of the first 2 quadrants. Like I said, I think they're playing like the best team in the country. They have the pieces to make that championship run this year. And I think the betting money might be on them to do so.
Yeah, I like Alabama. And when it comes down to those brackets, I think a lot of people are going to have Alabama as one of those teams going far because, as we all know in the NCAA tournament, good guard play is what's going to help you advance. Now, in addition to this Alabama versus Auburn game, we got a great slate of games for today. Let's take a look at what we got coming up because y'all should be paying attention for a great day of college basketball. We got Kentucky at Georgia, Clemson at North Carolina, Baylor at TCU, and then BYU at the Zags. Sam, I got my eye on all these games, and I'm definitely going to be looking at North Carolina to see if they can get back on track.
Yeah, huge game against Clemson today. That's massive for NCAA tournament implications as well.
Yeah, especially with Miami coming up next, just 48 hours later.
No question.
All right, so we know the day today is February 11th, but in just about 3 days, as a matter of fact, it is the day of love. Valentine's
Day. The day of love. Okay.
I know you got someone special in your life.
I do. My wife, Hannah, yes.
Come on, man. I know you got some spans for her, right? Shout out Hannah. And we decided before we go, let's hand out some conversation hearts to some teams, players, and coaches because the day of love is coming up. So let's show some love and a little bit of hate at the same time. All right. First one. You're a slam dunk.
Yeah, Scoob, I'm going Alabama here. Best start in SEC play since 1955, 1956. If that's not a slam dunk, I don't know what is.
I'm going to go with the Big 12. That conference has given us game after game with teams who are literally the best in the country. You got to love everything that's going on. And as we wrap up the season, Texas is at the top, and there's 6 teams, just one game within each other. All right, next one. Do better, be better. What you going with?
I'm going with Tennessee here. Tennessee's been a bit of a disappointment the last couple of weeks. They have the best defense in the country, but the offense is just so difficult to watch at times. Anyone outside of Santiago Vescovi, can somebody else get going consistently there?
Do better, be better, ACC. With the way y'all play, you need to see your ass out the door and come back next year. You need to be better. All right, try again next year.
Villanova, ranked preseason 16th in the country, sit 5-8 in the Big East right now. I think they have the right coach, Kyle Neptune, in there. I think he will turn it around, but life without Jay Wright is proving to be a little bit more difficult than maybe expected.
UNC is for me because they are on the verge of not making the NCAA tournament, and they were the preseason #1. Now, our last one, we're literally horrible, and our season was over before we even started. Who is this? And we are both picking the same team.
Look, this is difficult. I don't want to harp on Louisville here, but they've had a really difficult season. This is a team, by the way, that won a national championship a decade ago.
All right. Well, there it is. Before we head out of here, we want to thank you for watching Countdown to Game Day, covered by State Farm. But check out Reese.
What are we doing here?
Signing a lucky fan's chest. You can go ahead and tell your mom what happened today. War Eagle fans, appreciate y'all for watching. Enjoy the day of games. Peace.